Guys, we got to talk about the Pimax Crystal Light. This is a first impressions of the headset because I finally got my prescription lenses, and it's time to talk about the headset and break it down. But first, guys, so we talk more about the Crystal Light, I do have to say, one, my voice is shot. My voice is absolutely shot. I've just started getting my voice back. I've been sick. That's why I've been MIA, not streaming and stuff like that. So we're finally back because my voice has come back and I'm feeling a lot better now. And then two, we got to talk about the elephant in the room with Pimax. And it's a big elephant. It's like, honestly, it's like a planet-sized elephant. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a situation. And the only reason I'm really addressing it in this video is because one, this is a Pimax first impressions. And two, I don't want this point to go unsaid in this video. And I do have to say that they were caught recently incentivizing people to leave positive reviews with payment. So that has pretty much hit the PCVR space, caused a big uproar, which makes sense because companies shouldn't be doing that. Now they solved that and they apologized, which is totally cool with me because, I mean, as a reviewer myself, I have never, ever been paid by a company to leave a positive review. I'm the same guy who threw the Meganex Superlight 8K in the trash can. So on this channel, you can check all my videos. All I do is do my honest opinion. That's why I do multiple videos. Sometimes my opinion on a headset changes throughout time. I also have a pretty decent paying job, guys, so I'm not really strapped for money. So you won't see me on here lying about a product because one, people remember that. And you will see a lot of people mention certain VR YouTubers and influencers in a negative light every time a name pops up, and you don't want that in this space. Especially with a space as small and as niche as high-end or even mid-tier PC VR. Just to keep it in you guys' mind, I will always have your best interest at heart because you're spending money. A lot of times I have spent money. I have 12 headsets and about probably 10, well, 9 of them I bought myself. So I definitely understand the value of spending your own money, especially when you hear about these great reviews. Oh, the headset has great binocular overlap or stuff like that. And then you get the headset and it has software issues or just buggy lens. It's just a lot of nastiness can be happening in these PCVR reviews. But I do want to address it because Pimax did send me this headset and I want to make it known that they did not coerce me. I can show you the contract I signed, that they did not coerce me into giving a positive review or first impressions for this headset. All right, so back to the video. This is the Pimax Crystal Light. This is the leaner brother cousin of the OG Pimax Crystal. And when I say leaner, I mean it. This headset literally drops the built-in battery, the local storage, the eye tracking, and a lot of those standalone features that the OG Crystal had. So you lose a lot with this headset, but it's a lot cheaper, being around $800 to $900 versus the OG Crystal being $1599. So big price jump. So I actually unboxed this headset live on stream. So if you want to catch the, raw, unfiltered excitement I had on stream, head back to that VOD and check it out. Right out of the box though, it was surprisingly neat and very organized presentation. I love that in a PCVR unboxing. You literally open the box and boom, giant headset is literally the first thing you see. And let me tell you, this headset is huge. Not even exaggerating, it's really and genuinely a unit of a headset. But what really catches your eye when you first look at the Pimax Crystal Light is the gigantic lenses. When I tell you they're massive, they're legitimately like massive. It's funny because when I took a look at the headset, I'm like, okay, this is genuinely like a giant FOV VR headset. They were not lying. Everything else in the box is pretty standard. You get your cable. You also get some really nice controllers that I like because they're very ergonomic and easy to hold. And you get a bunch of other stuff in the box to pretty much make the experience more complete. Very simple, very straight to the point. But on paper though, the Crystal Light genuinely has some really nice specs. And we're gonna go over that list. We're talking dual QLED panels with mini LED backlighting, aspheric lenses for edge-to-edge clarity, 2880 by 2880 resolution per eye, which is really high for this price range of headset. The refresh rate also ranges from 60 Hz to 120 Hz, depending on your configuration. It also boasts a 130 degrees diagonal FOV and a 115 horizontal FOV. Now, at first I thought that was baloney, but honestly, I can see it. You genuinely can see it when you put the headset on. And the really dope thing about the Pimax Crystal Light is that it has controller tracking, their own controller solution, and it also has Steam VR Lighthouse tracking if you buy the faceplate. But even with all that being said, the craziest thing on this list is that the Pimax Crystal Light weighs 560 grams. That's a big boy. That's a really big headset. That weight alone makes this one of the heaviest VR headsets that I've ever had. I've had a Valve Index, which I think actually the Valve Index weighs more, but the weight is distributed really different, so it doesn't feel as heavy. Moving on to expectations, when I first got reached out to by Pimax, I mean, I've always heard horror stories of quality control issues, so I was genuinely nervous to kind of start this review journey with this headset. But I do have to be honest here, they genuinely sent me a great review unit. I'm not even gonna lie, in terms of quality control. I've had actually no issues with the headset itself. And it's also been a long time since I used a giant VR headset. Most of my headsets for the past few years have been on the smaller side, like the Bigscreen Beyond, the Superlight 8K, even like the Quest 3S. There's a lot of very smaller headsets. And that leads me to comfort. And the first thing I noticed when putting this headset on to try it out is that it's surprisingly tight as a fit. Like, my head has next to no extra room when I wear it, so I definitely couldn't even use my glasses with it. I had to wait for my prescription lenses. I got my prescriptions from VR because they are very legit. I use them for literally 95% of my VR headsets. They're affordable and work for people with dubious prescriptions like mine. Like, my eyesight, terrible. Literally no other company I've worked with has been better than VR. Use code MartyDude for 10% off. Link is in the description below. Tell them MartydudeVR sent you, man. There's some good people. But that being said though, I must say that this headset at base is ridiculously uncomfortable. Like, it genuinely got to the point my head was hurting while I was wearing the headset. Now, luckily, and I'm glad I do this, I thought ahead and I ordered the Pimax Crystal Light, PU leather plus a fabric foam pad, ultimate upgrade kit, Studioform. Now, first time ever getting anything from Studioform, but it legit worked out in my favor. Now, I'm not going to dock Pimax for this. As somebody who has 11 VR headsets, I've never had one that fit or was comfortable out of the box. Literally has never happened. And this headset is also very, and I mean very front heavy and not very well balanced as a whole unit. Sadly, with how much tech is kind of packed into this headset, especially with it being glass, lenses and stuff like that, I generally don't see how they could have cut weight or even distributed it differently without putting counterweights on the back of the headset or something like that. Now, I did get in contact with Studioform though, and I will be trying their counterweights, see if it adds comfort or not. As the people who might want to get a Pimax Crystal Light, I'll definitely let you know that in the final review of the headset. As of right now though, there's a decent amount of pressure, especially on the cheek area when wearing the Crystal Light. So if you're a person who's really sensitive to that, you might not like this until you get a comfort mod or those counterweights. In terms of installation and setup though, the Crystal Light was actually mad simple to get up and running. Now, I expected more issues because of past reviews that I've seen, especially about Pimax and their Pimax Play app, but surprisingly, I only had like maybe two problems with it, and one of them was my fault because I had an existing driver from another VR headset. And while we're on that topic, and to be clear, this is not a native themed VR headset. You will need the Pimax Play app, but I'm not gonna lie, it has a chock full of features you might not want to miss on any. Coming from certain headsets that don't have great software, I was surprised to find foveated rendering, local dimming, lighthouse faceplate setup, IPD offset, even per game graphic configs you can set to give you different situations for different games in terms of graphics. And I was also surprised to see that Pimax even has their own store you can buy stuff from too. I didn't expect there to be a store in that app, but there's also a library which you can get games from Steam, Oculus, Pimax themselves, and even Vive ports. That's really cool. They import all your games into their ecosystem. The only other issue I had personally is that my headset kept disconnecting when I was trying to update it. But after trying it like 6 or 7 times, I finally got it working. So little bug there. Hopefully y'all fix that, because it kept reconnecting, disconnecting. It was kind of annoying. I will say though that booting up the headset actually blew me away. I wasn't expecting like micro OLED level clarity and stuff like that. But for what is in the headset, the clarity is actually amazing, especially for the price. I have a 4090, so personally I upped resolution to about 120%, and sheesh, it's actually really nice. And the local dimming option really makes a difference in those dark scenes that have really high contrast and lighting. So I do have to give it some. That Pimax Play software really makes a difference in getting you to a more expensive feeling VR setup. Now, one thing the software could not fix though was the glare. In certain scenes, you really get some bad glare. It's not a deal breaker or anything like that, but if you're really sensitive to glare, you might not like it. Personally, a lot of headsets I've had in the past have had glare, so honestly, it's just hard to get away from in terms of VR. I've never had a headset that didn't have any glare, so you know, it is what it is. In terms of gaming, I ran a lot of my main rotation games that I usually play on stream, like Half-Life Alyx, Project Wingman, Contractors VR, and No Man's Sky, and a bunch of other games. First thing that really shines about this headset, and I will say this probably a lot of this review, is the FOV. And I mean, sheesh. I mean, bro, the only headset out of my 11 headsets that can compete with this headset in terms of pure FOV is probably the PSVR 2, hands down. That's the only one that can come close. I get so much FOV, and I love FOV. I want to see as much as I can and as clear as I can. So I love that about this headset. And it's funny because I lose some FOV because I have prescription lenses and they're like really thick. So even then I get a lots of FOV, probably more than I would on other headsets. The binocular overlap is also really good. I'll try to show you guys how much I see when I play the game. I'll make sure I put up some B-roll or something like that so you guys see it. And Pimax was actually really nice, and they sent me the controllers and a Lighthouse faceplate because they know I have a really hardcore, you know, Lighthouse PC VR community in my community. And in terms of using both, I didn't get B-roll of me using the actual regular controllers, but I didn't really have many tracking issues. Now, I know a lot of people do have tracking issues, and it probably could be per play space, but I have 3 Lighthouse trackers or Lighthouses in my room. I didn't have any issues. Now, after about a week of usage, I had drops in tracking with the faceplate here and there, but nothing to really even complain about or really dog from the first impressions of the headset. Now, that could change later down the line to play more intense games, but I didn't have any issues with tracking with either the Lighthouse faceplate or the regular Pimax controllers. Now, I do know people do have issues with both, and I acknowledge that, but me personally, I didn't have any. Another thing that also really and genuinely stands out with this headset is the brightness and the colors you get from the display. They look great, especially playing games that have a certain type of lighting like Half-Life Alyx or Iron Rebellion, or even No Man's Sky, which has like a crazy color palette. I even got to do my version of Simming, which is Project Wingman. And personally, you know, I just love flying around in that game. I usually use it for a test of how a flight sim may work without using, you know, actual flight sim. And that leads me to the point where I think this headset genuinely shines better when you're sitting down. Now, a lot of people are strong and you can't stand up using this headset, but for me, I felt more comfortable using the Crystal Light when I was sitting down, despite the size and weight. Now, this thing is heavy, like I said. Even after like an hour or 2 hours of playing, my neck was very tired, and I'm a, you know, decently built guy. So yeah, it's kind of difficult for long play sessions in terms of standing up. But I think sitting down, you could probably put like an hour or a few hours in this headset with no issue. One thing that really was underwhelming about this headset is the audio. Not really a fan of using on the headset audio, but I tried it out this time and it's just not good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very drowned out, not really bassy. And I even tried to put my earphones on with the Crystal Light and I broke them. Oh my God. But it's all good. I got a replacement on the way. So I'm definitely gonna take those the audio solution off of the headset at some point. But I know they have a deluxe audio solution, but I'd rather use my own headphones because I'm pretty sure it's better than that. And another thing is the mic audio is very underwhelming. I usually don't use on the headset mics because most of our headsets don't really have good mics on them. But I hopped in Discord with the Pimax on the mic, and I got roasted in my Discord for like 5 minutes because of the drop in quality from my usual wireless mic. You know what? Just to kind of show you guys, hear it for yourself. This is an audio test for the Crystal Light. This is the audio. Can you hear me? Yes, this is how the audio sounds, and this is why I got roasted in Discord. yeah, it's pretty rough. So you guys definitely can do better with the Dream Air that's coming out. Get a better audio solution that's built into the headset, because the Crystal Light just ain't it in terms of audio. Overall, as a first impressions, I feel so conflicted. I genuinely had a great experience so far with this headset, but I see so much stuff online from people who usually buy their headsets, stuff like that, that says the opposites in Discords and subreddits. So I think for me, I definitely need more time with this headset to really get the full Pimax experience and to make sure I can fully recommend this headset to you guys with absolutely no, qualm in my heart. As a lot of you guys know, the more time you spend with the headset is when the peculiarities and the kinks of the headset really show themselves. I will say though, Pimax has really impressed me this time around with the product. I do like the Crystal Light, I'm not gonna lie. But, in a big but, all the people on my channel know that I do a 1 month review, and I do a 3 month review, and even a 6 month review of the headset just to make sure I cover everything. So I may not feel the same way in about a month. We're gonna see. And I'm definitely gonna do a Quest 3 versus Crystal Light comparison video, because I think it might actually be like pretty good. I might do Crystal Light versus PSVR 2 also, just to kind of cover bases with that too. So to sum everything up and to put a nice, beautiful bow on this video, I genuinely like my experience so far, and I'm actually looking forward to reviewing the Crystal Super and trying their different headsets out in the future. And I would love for other Crystal Light owners to talk about their experiences with the Crystal Light, so we can get an open dialogue, because I don't want my experience to be the only experience you hear. I want you to hear other people's experience. So make sure you comment below if you're thinking about getting one, or you want one, or you have one and have had a good or a bad experience. The more people talk, the more we can help people when it comes to making a decision on what headset to buy. Because after all, this is a community. It's been with MartydudeVR, and I do have more first impressions coming. So Play for Dream actually sent me the MR headset, and we got to talk about that this week also. Stay tuned for that. And I got a very special announcement coming that's going to be a surprise because I'm an NDA, but you're going to see it real soon. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, make sure you follow, and also like this video. But it's me with MartydudeVR, and remember, I'm just a dude with a VR headset. Peace.